Yes, welcome back to the Sports Show. We're into the last quarter. Of course, we were talking about Kyle Chalmers at the start of the show. Just quickly, because I know you've got a lot of stuff you want to get to there, but when you talk about those milliseconds, in swimming it is such an important moment, isn't it? It's that touch of the wall, just a fingernail on the wall, or, you know, it's not like we talk about other events where you win by 10 points or you beat it by 2 seconds. Swimming has come down to such a fine point, hasn't it?
It's such a small margin, and I think once I got my head around that you're talking about it's quicker than a blink. Like I used to think if I grew my fingernails longer or at least get fake nails, I might get the upper hand. But yeah, I don't know. I think it adds up throughout the race, and it's an accumulation of things. And when you kind of progress as an older athlete and you're working towards shaving off those milliseconds, there's a lot that goes into it, even though it's such a small margin. Yeah, and especially in short course racing, which is what he broke the world record in, which is in the 25 metre setting. So for 100 metres, it was 4 laps, and it's a whole different sport compared to Olympic style 50 metre swimming, because it's very much skill based, and you spend half the race underwater. So it's very much dependent on your underwater work. And yeah, that's something that, because I personally trained with Kyle, he has been working on his underwater kick, and yeah, it's shown up in his
just
short
quickly,
course racing.
I know you want to get to Yana Pittman and a couple of others. You trained, you just mentioned you trained with him. Is he like Ash Barty? I mean, whenever I've met him and spoken, he just seems like a really nice guy, really down to earth. You know, I know he's got a little quirk with his snakes and lizards, but other than that,
there's nothing wrong with the snakes and lizards. But yeah,
it hasn't changed him either, has it?
No, he's very down to earth, and what you see is what you get with Kyle, and he is a person that loves unique characters. So if he sees someone out there following their passions and just doing what they love, he gravitates to people like that, and he has all the time in the world for people who are just doing their very best at whatever they're doing. It doesn't matter if it's like who you are or what you're doing. He loves that kind of thing.
All right, Yana Pittman?
Yeah, Yana Pittman. Yeah, so did you watch the SAS?
No, I saw that she was on it.
Yeah, so I was probably a little bit too young for the Yana Pittman era, but I think I remember watching a fair bit on the news. She was always kind of not portrayed in the best light. I guess then watching her on SAS, it's shared a bit more about her story, and through social media, she's even continued to share a bit more. So yeah, she's got 4 kids, 2 through sperm donation, 2 naturally conceived, and now she's pregnant with her husband with twins. So she'll be a mother of 6 soon. When she retired from doing the Summer and Winter Olympics, she then went on to be a doctor. Qualify to be a doctor. So yeah, she's an amazing human. But I think it kind of made me question, especially in the era of social media these days, do you think athletes have more of control over their narrative versus back in the day when Yana just sort of had to cop how the media was portraying her?
It's a really good point, isn't it? So she had her 2 World Cups where she was World Cup champion, and then the 2 Olympics she was injured. One of them, she'd done her knee and obviously came back in an amazing period. I reckon it was 5 months from memory, and competed and finished 5th. The second one, she'd injured her toe just before the Olympics, and which is, you know, if you're a hurdler or a runner, it's a pretty important part of the body. So she had those injuries, but I think a lot of people cast aspersions on her, you know, and you're right, the media could dominate and steer it any way they wanted to. And then in the current era now we have the social media, so you can come out and voice what you are. I think what we see with Yana is, you know, she's a world champion, unbelievably determined. A lot of athletes, when they finish, don't know what to do. Here's an athlete that's finished and gone on to become a doctor. So, and she was dux of her class. It wasn't like she just scraped in. So she got rejected on her first time into medicine and reapplied. So she was determined to do it. And now we see her and everybody's going, you know what? I really like the way she's determined. I really like the way she's achieved. Yet through that period where she couldn't defend herself when things were going on. So I think social media has probably helped her get a better, people understand her better and not judge her so quickly on what was just in print media. So there is an advantage, and I think it can be destructive as well.
Yeah, well, it can go either of the ways.
In her case, I think it's probably worked in a really positive way for her.
Yeah, speaking of positives, my good news story.
Oh, the good news story. Britt's good news story. What have we got?
We love to end on a positive note.
We do.
So, I mean, there's a bittersweet to this story, but Alex Chumpy Pullen was a 3-time Olympic snowboarder who tragically passed away from a shallow water blackout accident on the Gold Coast, 15 months ago. And in a miracle, his partner, Elodie Pullen, has given birth to their daughter. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's such a great
story,
and through the blessing of his parents and family, knowing that they were trying to conceive before he passed away, they gave her their blessing to retrieve his sperm within the 36-hour window of him passing. So, yeah, it's just truly a great feel-good story, and I mean, it comes with a lot of challenges, but yeah, I think it's just...
It is a great story. Little girl?
Yeah, little girl, Minnie Alex, middle name Alex, but yeah, Minnie Alex Pullen, which has a bit of a ring to it as well. So
you met him too, had a brief chat with him?
Yeah, well, not a chat, but he was at the same event, and he knows a lot of the other athletes, because he was sponsored by Red Bull. So yeah, it's kind of within the circle, and he's in the Olympic alumni.
Once you're in the family, you're in the family.
Once an Olympian, always Olympian. So just such a feel good, and I've been following her journey of widowhood on Instagram, and yeah, it's just so good to see her come out the other side, and obviously, hopefully, I feel like there might be a little future Olympian in Minnie.
That's a great story.
Yeah, so on that note, that's all we have time for. Thank you for joining us on the SA Sports Show. Join us same time next week for more sport.